Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to see different types of coagulants under the subject of Environmental Engineering 1. So, different types of coagulant we are used in coagulation and flocculation process, that is the part of water treatment plant. So, let's we see different types of coagulants. So, first of all, we will see the classification of coagulant. So, there are primary coagulants and secondary coagulants or coagulants aid. So, in previous lecture, we already have seen that coagulation process. So, what is coagulation? So, we are adding some chemicals that we are called it as coagulants, which has a positive charge particles or the cations of aluminum and ferrous. That coagulants we are adding into the raw water, and because of their van der Waals force of attraction between negative and positive charge particle, the flock formation is there. Flock means the clustered of bigger size particle. So that flock we will settle down in secondary sedimentation tank. So for the addition of these chemicals, we are using different types of coagulants. So let's we see. So what are the primary coagulants? Primary coagulants neutralize the electrical charge of particles in the water, which causes the particles to clump together, that is the formation of flock. Coagulants aids add density to slow settling flow and add toughness to the flow so that they will not break up during the mixing and settling process. Chemically, coagulants chemicals are either metallic salt or polymers. Polymers are man-made organic compounds made up of a long chain of smaller molecules. Polymers can be either cations or non-ionic charged particles. So, in form of polymers as well as metallic salt, we are adding it in raw water as a coagulant. The different sources of water need different coagulants, but the most commonly used are alum and ferric sulfate. So depending on the characteristics of raw water, we are selecting the type of coagulant. So normally we are using the alum and ferric sulfate. So reaction takes place when we are adding alum into the raw water. So as you can see this formula, the chemical formula of alum is Al2SO4 thrice. That is aluminium sulfate, and we are called it as alum. So when alum we are adding into the raw water, then it will react to the calcium hydroxide or lime present in water, and by the addition of this alum and lime, it will get converted into flock, that is aluminium hydroxide, flock of aluminium hydroxide. So that will be settled in the sedimentation tank. Again, if we are adding ferric sulfate, the formula of ferric sulfate is Fe2SO4 thrice. So again it will react with lime, that is calcium hydroxide. So it will get converted into ferrous oxide, ferric hydroxide in form of flock. That is the flock formation of ferric oxide, hydroxide, and that will be settled into the sedimentation tank. So next are the coagulants. Mainly aluminium and iron salts are used as a coagulant. So aluminium salts are available in the form of aluminium sulfate, chlorinated copras, ferrous sulfate and lime, magnesium carbonate and lime, sodium aluminate, and aluminium salt. So these are the forms of aluminium ions. So coagulants we are added into the coagulation process is one of this form. Aluminium salts are cheaper, but iron salts are more effective over the wider pH range. So let's we see the formula of this aluminium salts. So first is aluminium sulfate, or we can call it as alum. So chemical formula of alum is Al2SO4 thrice. Next is ferrous sulfate. Chemical formula of ferrous sulfate is FeSO4. Next is ferric sulfate. Chemical formula of ferric sulfate is Fe2SO4 thrice. And next is ferric chloride. So chemical formula of ferric chloride is FeCl3. So these are the form of coagulants that which we are using in coagulation process. Next coagulant is or form of aluminium salt is aluminium sulfate or alum. There are a variety of primary coagulants which can be used in water treatment plant, and aluminium is one of them. One of the earliest and still the most extensively used is aluminium sulfate, also we known as called it as alum. Alum can be bought in a liquid form with a concentration of 8.3% or in a dry form with a concentration of 17%. So either we are adding alum in form of liquid or in the form of dry powder to the raw water. When alum is added to water, it reacts with water and results in positively charged ion particles or neutralize the charged particles. Under normal circumstances, the dose of alum varies from 10 to 30 milligram per liter of water. So normally we are providing 10 to 30 mg per liter of water of alum. So let's we see the alum reaction when alum or aluminium sulfate is added into the raw water. To produce the hydroxide flock, enough alkalinity should present in water. So when alum is added into the water, it will react to the hydroxides of calcium hydroxide, and it will get converted into the hydroxide flock. And that flock we will settle down in the sedimentation time. So as you can see in this reaction, this is the formula of alum, that is Al2SO4 thrice and 18H2O, which will react to the calcium hydroxide or carbonates or bicarbonates of calcium, which will convert it to the hydroxide flock, that is AlOH thrice. Sometimes sodium carbonate, known as soda ash, is added to form alkalinity. So instead of hydroxide of carbonate, the sodium carbonate is added into the water along with the alum. So the reaction takes place and form the hydroxides of alum. The advantages and disadvantages of alum. So it is the commonly used effluent or commonly used coagulant because of it readily dissolves with water. It does not cause the unsightly reddish brown staining of floor, wall and equipment like ferric sulfate. And some of the disadvantages of addition of alums are: it is effective only at certain pH range. Good flocculation may not be possible with alum in some water. So again it will depend on the characteristics of raw water. The next coagulant type is ferrous sulfate or chlorinated copras. So for ferrous sulfate we are called as known as chlorinated copras. Ferric hydroxide is formed at low pH value so that coagulation is possible with ferric sulfate at pH values as low as 4. So that ferric sulfate we will use for the raw water treatment only when the pH of water is below 4. That is, water is acidic in nature. Ferric hydroxide is insoluble over a wide range of pH value than aluminium hydroxide except for the zone of 7 to 8.5 pH. The flock formed with ferric coagulant is heavier than alum flock. The ferric hydroxide flock does not redissolve at high pH value. So always it will be better than alum. So ferric coagulants may be used in color removal at a high pH value required for the removal of ions and manganese and in softening of water. So reaction takes place while adding the ferrous sulfate or chlorinated copras. The reaction takes place in water are the chemical formula of ferrous sulfate are FeSO4 and 7H2O plus it will react with chlorine, then it will form the ferrous sulfate, the flock of ferrous sulfate and ferric chloride. The ferric sulfate and ferric chloride produced instantaneously are called the chlorinated copras. Both of these are immediately available for the formation of ferric oxide flock. The resulting reactions are, so the flock formation is not directly when we are adding immediately the ferrous sulfate to the water. So first there is a formation of chlorinated copras in form of ferric sulfate, that is Fe2SO4 thrice, and ferric chloride, that is FeCl3. And again this ferric sulfate and ferric chloride react with the calcium carbonate. It will get product of calcium sulfate in form of flock. Next coagulant is ferrous sulfate and lime. Ferrous sulfate can react with natural calcium bicarbonate alkalinity in water, but it's slow process. So when the pH value of water is in alkaline nature, that is value is above 7, then we are using the ferrous sulfate and lime. Hence lime is added in water. The ferric hydroxide is gelatinous flock which is heavier than flock formed by alum. So again by adding the ferrous sulfate is effective than alum, and optimum pH range required is below 7. The reaction takes place while we are adding the ferrous sulfate R. As you can see, ferric sulfate react with calcium hydroxide or lime, it will get formation of ferrous oxide in the form of flock. So the ferrous oxide, that is FeOH twice, thus formed. Though an efficient flock, it's soon oxidized by dissolved oxygen in water and ferric oxide is formed. So this ferrous oxide react with oxygen, it will get converted into ferric oxide, that is flock formation. Next is magnesium carbonate and lime. So just like ferric sulfate and lime, the carbonates of manganese and lime, when adding into the water, so reaction takes place as you can see in this formula. The magnesium carbonate plus calcium hydroxide react with each other to form hydroxides of magnesium. So the magnesium carbonate and lime are dissolved in water and magnesium hydroxide and calcium carbonate are formed as above. The byproduct of above reaction form soluble sludge in the form of soluble sludge, so not commonly used. So there is a sludge formation when we are using magnesium sulfate as a coagulant. Next is sodium aluminate. This is also one of the effective coagulant in water treatment. The formula of sodium aluminate is Na2Al2O4. Is alkaline in reaction and is used very rare than alum because of its cost. It reacts with the salt of calcium and magnesium. So reactions are the sodium aluminate. The formula of sodium aluminate is Na2Al2O4, which is react with calcium carbonate and it will get converted into the calcium aluminate as a flow. So these are the reaction takes place in the sodium aluminate reactions. The coagulant remove both temporary and permanent hardness and is effective for pH range of 6 to 8.5 naturally available in water. So this is the effective coagulant, but as its cost is very high, we are not commonly used in water treatment. Then the comparison of alum and iron salts. Iron salts form heavy flock as compared to the alum, hence more solids are removed. Time of reaction and flock formation is less for iron salt, hence time is reduced. Iron salts can work efficiently over the wider pH range, that is pH greater than 7. Iron salts can remove taste and odor. Less mud ball formation as compared to alum. So these are the advantages of iron salts against the alum. Next is, under some cases iron salts are more economical. Iron salts cause staining and promotes growth of iron bacteria. Iron salts make water more corrosive and compared to alum. Handling of iron salts requires skilled labor and more carbon dioxide is formed, so water become corrosive. Alum coagulation may not be proper if potassium and sodium are present in water. So these are the some disadvantages of using the iron salts instead of alums. So next are coagulant aid. So in first slide we have seen there are basically two types of coagulants, the primary coagulants and coagulants aids. The primary coagulants are used just to neutralize the charge, and coagulants aid are given the toughness and strength to the flock formation process. So we will see the coagulant aids. Coagulant aids is an inorganic material when used along with the main coagulant improves or accelerate the process of coagulation and flocculation by producing quick forming of flock, dense and rapid settling of flock. Coagulant aids when added increase the density to slow settling flock and toughness to the flock so that they will not break up during the mixing and settling process. Coagulant aids are chemicals which are added to water during coagulation to improve the coagulation process, build a stronger, more settleable flock, overcome slow flock formation in cold water, reduce the amount of coagulant required, and reduce the amount of sludge produced. So always coagulants aids are effective or beneficial in water treatment. Types of coagulant aids. There are different types of coagulant aids in form of activated silica. So activated silica we are using as a coagulant aid to increase the coagulation rate, to reduce the amount of coagulant needed, to widen the pH range for effective coagulation, chief in strengthening the flock, usually added after coagulant, never directly with alum. Next type of coagulant aid is weighting agent. So first we have seen the activated silica, next are the weighing agents. It provides the additional particles that can enhance flock formation, used to treat water that is high in color, used to treat water that is low in turbidity, used to treat water that is low in mineral content. Different types include bentonite clay, powdered limestone and powdered silica. So these are the types of weighing agents that we are used as a coagulant aids. Next type is polyelectrolyte. Extremely large molecules which produce highly charged ions when dissolved in water. These are also called as polymers. So polymers, when we are adding as a coagulant aid, these are very effective for the process of coagulation and flocculation, and very high density flock is formed during this process while adding the polymers. Types of polyelectrolytes. So polyelectrolytes are available in cations which has positive charge, which allows to reduce the coagulant dose. Flock settlement is better. less sensitivity to pH, and improves the flocculation of organisms such as bacteria and algae. So next type of polyelectrolytes are anions, which have a negative charge, use primary as a coagulant aid, increase flock size, improve settling, produce a stronger flock, and not materially affected by pH, alkalinity, hardness, and turbidity. So polyelectrolytes are available in either cationic nature or anionic nature depending on the characteristics of raw water. We have select which type of polyelectrolyte that has been used. So next type is polyelectrolyte is non-ionic. So it balance or neutral charge and used as a primary coagulant or coagulant aid. Common coagulant aids which are commonly used in water treatments are bentonite, calcium carbonate, sodium silicate, anionic polymers, and non-ionic polymers. The factors which affect how well a coagulant aid works. So there are different factors which are affecting the process of coagulation while the addition of coagulant aids. So that factors are mixing conditions, pH value, alkalinity, water temperature, turbidity, etc. So next important coagulant aid type is polyaluminum chloride. So in exam the separate question asking on this topic, that is polyaluminum chloride. So what is polyaluminum chloride? Polyaluminum chloride, we are called it as PAC, which are nothing but the aluminum chlorohydrate, also simply called as PAC. It's used in deodorant and as a coagulant in water purification. This compound is preferred in some cases because of its high charge, which makes it more effective at destabilizing and removing the suspended material than other aluminum salts. Using polyaluminum chloride as flocculant, the speed of flock forming and settling is quick. Flocks formed is easy to filter. Comparing to aluminum sulfate, the quality of water treated with PAC is better. The total cost reduced by 15 to 30% and solubility is better. So these polyaluminum chlorides are always effective and better in economic point also than the aluminum sulfates. It can be applied to water with broad pH range. The flock function valid in water of pH range in 5 to 9. Comparing to inorganic flocculant, PAC is suitable for water of broad temperature and is functional in low temperature water. Also, it reduces less basicity, so less or no basifier needed. There is fewer salt in water treated with PAC. This is good for high purity water purifying and ion exchange treatment. The corrosivity of PAC is lower, easy to transfer and handle and operate. So nowadays polyaluminum chloride as a coagulant aid is commonly used because of these advantages. So the overall summary of these topics are, we have seen what is coagulant, what is necessity of adding coagulants in raw water, what are the different types of coagulant which classified as primary coagulant and coagulant aid, then different types of coagulant aids, and finally the important coagulant, that is polyaluminum chloride and its advantages. Thank you.